life unraveled in the span of ordinary objects, a weathered wallet, a well-loved watch, a phone buzzing with unanswered calls. But between the fragments of a shattered world lay a single envelope, its hurried scrawl spelling out three impossible demands. Pretend nothing's wrong when he comes home. Eat the meal he prepares. Let death come when it tries. Those words haunted every breath as grief clung like a second skin, until the front door creaked open and a familiar face stepped through, radiating warmth, yet carrying a chill that whispered of unspeakable wrongness. What followed would unravel a truth no heart could bear to accept alone. The air hung heavy with a quiet sorrow as she stood amongst the parked vehicles. Dampness clung to her clothes, not from rain, but from the countless tears she'd shed. She needed to compose herself to appear normal. A worn sweatshirt pulled over her head offered a small shield, a desperate attempt to hide the raw edges of her grief before entering the building. Inside, everything was cold and still. A man in a white coat led her down a long hallway, each step echoing the emptiness growing inside her. He brought her to a room devoid of warmth, where the one she loved lay silent and still. He spoke of uncertainty, of unanswered questions. There was no clear explanation for how it happened, only a detached recitation of facts. She was left to identify what she already knew in her heart. Then came the collection of his things. A familiar wallet, the watch he always wore, the phone she'd heard ring 1,000 times. Each item a sharp reminder of everything lost, but tucked amongst the ordinary, an envelope. Her name, written in his hand, but different. The letters were hurried, frantic, unlike his usual careful script. A cold dread began to settle in her bones as she carefully opened it. The message inside was brief, 3 instructions that felt impossible, cruel even. The first sentence sent a shiver down her spine. When he returns, she must play along. She reread the words again and again, until they were branded onto her memory, each syllable a weight on her chest. The next day stretched out, a blurry landscape of grief and disbelief. She sat lost in thought, surrounded by remnants of her sorrow, when the sound of the front door opening startled her. And there he was. He walked into the room, looking exactly as she remembered. For a fleeting, hopeful moment, she believed it was all a terrible mistake, that he was truly back. But a deep, instinctive fear whispered that something was terribly wrong. Still, she obeyed the first instruction. She rushed forward, wrapping her arms around him, burying her face in his shoulder. He smelled right, his cologne, the comforting scent of home. He held her just as he always had, one hand gently cradling her neck, the other resting at her waist. Even the greeting was familiar, the cheerful words she'd known for so long. Then he noticed her swollen eyes and with unsettling normalcy offered to make her favorite meal. The sound of the wine bottle popping echoed through the house moments later, a chillingly precise detail. It was exactly as she'd foreseen. The second instruction came back to her. She could eat what he made, but she must not drink a single drop. She watched him in the kitchen, a silent observer as he recreated their special meal with terrifying accuracy. Golden chicken cutlets, perfectly cooked bucatini tossed in rich red sauce, fresh basil from the porch just as he always used. 2 plates were set, 2 glasses filled with wine. She ate, the taste bringing a wave of bittersweet memories. But something was off. He ate with a ravenous hunger, shoveling food into his mouth, smacking his lips. Her husband would never eat like that. A pointed question about her untouched wine made her grip her fork tighter. Then, his hand moved towards the counter, towards the block of knives. A new, icy fear gripped her heart as the third instruction surfaced, the one that stole the air from her lungs. She had to trust her husband, though it wasn't him. This thing would try to kill her. She had to let it. A slow, unsettling smile stretched across his face as he turned, a chef's knife glinting in the light. He moved closer, one hand finding the back of her neck, the other pressing the sharp tip of the knife lightly against her stomach. Her throat constricted with fear, but she forced herself to remain still, repeating the words in her mind like a desperate mantra. He tilted her chin up, forcing her to meet his gaze, And then he spoke. It was him, the one who had written the letter. What do you think happened to the real husband, and why did he leave those chilling instructions? Leave your comments below on your thoughts. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for more content like this.